àtàwọn inú ojú pópó tí ń sòrú dọ̀sán kọ́ àwọn ìlú ti sọ pásì ìwádùn níṣèjọba yìí fi ń mọrírì gbogbo àwọn aláṣẹ. Gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé ló ń sọ fún wa pé pẹ̀lú ìṣọ̀kan wa oòrùn tó kù lókè yìí ó táṣọ gbẹ.
Iléeṣẹ́ ètò ìròyìn àṣà ohun ìrìn àjò afẹ́ tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ló ń kéde.
Wonderful morning to you out there. You are welcome to your darling program, Newspaper Review, on Aloore Radio, transmitting from GSM Studio at the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism, Secretariat Agodi, Ibadan. I am Olukemi Omotosho. I have two newspapers to review today. I have the Nigerian Tribune and the Punch newspaper. On the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, I have this lead story that says, Federal government files fresh 15-count charge against Kanu. That can be found on page 2. Also, on cholera, Nigeria recorded 3,604 deaths, 111,062 cases in 2021, NCDC. Another one says, kidnappers abduct another Plateau monarch, demand 10 million naira. And on page 26 of the Nigerian Tribune, I have this story that says, why banditry will not end soon in Zamfara. Governor. Convention will hold February APC governors. Page 22 of the Nigerian Tribune. On the Punch newspaper, I have this lead story that says APC governors propose February 26. Musa Al-Makura lead in party chair's race. Page 2 of the Punch newspaper. And Oyo panel combs settlements as Lassa fever spreads, kills residents. That can be found on page 8 of the Punch newspaper. Hoodlums in army uniform kidnapped 7 wedding guests in Ogun, demand 60 million ransom. That is on page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. Ekiti court sentences dismissed soldier, others to death for armed robbery. And 600 women group converge on Abuja for Bello's presidential bid. That can be found on page 8 of the Punch newspaper. Still on the Nigerian Tribune, police Amotekun after criminals on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway with rider Gani Adams seeks police cooperation with Southwest Security Network. That is on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune. Trials of 15 suspects in Odili's home raid begins. 3 suspects granted 5 million bail each. And another one says, after 8 months, inflation rate rises to 15.63%. With these headlines, I want to go on break to come back for the details in full. Thanks for listening.
Ọgbà tí àṣejìná lòdì ìrànjẹ́ làwọn aláṣẹ ìjókòó tí wọ́n fẹ́ máa jẹ ọba ni wọ́n ó ṣe gàyà díẹ̀ ná ìlú ló láṣẹ ẹjẹ́ ìlú ó jẹun náà ìdí nìyí tó fi jẹ́ pé ẹ̀tọ́ ìlú là ń fowó ìlú ṣe nípìnlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ẹ̀rí bí ní ètò ẹ̀kọ́ wa ṣe ń jògeere LAUTECH ti di tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ilé ìwòsàn alábọ́dé bíi 40 ló ti wẹ̀wọ̀ ọ̀tún pẹ̀lú àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ tòun tòògùn àti irinṣẹ́ tó pójú owó iṣẹ́ sì ti fẹ́ẹ̀ parí pẹ̀lú lórí 100 míì ìdákẹ́jádò ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ààbò tó dájú ohun amáyédẹrùn ní ìṣokùnfà ìdásílẹ̀ iléeṣẹ́ ńláńlá láwùjọ òun náà nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ fi wà nípò kẹta nínú àwọn ìpínlẹ̀ tí ń pawó wọlé jùlọ lábẹ́lé nílẹ̀ wa ọ̀pọ̀ ọ̀dọ́ ló ti láǹfààní ẹ̀kọ́ṣẹ́ iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ lọ́nà ti gbàlódé táṣeyọrí yìí ó sì jẹ́ kó ń jẹ́ sùn wá bọ̀ láìpẹ́ nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ àtòṣìṣẹ́ fẹ̀yìntì ń gbowó wọn lásìkò pápá àṣírí Adámàsìngbà àtàwọn inú ojú pópó tí ń sòrú dọ̀sán kọ́ àwọn ìlú ti sọ pásì ìwádùn níṣèjọba yìí fi ń mọrírì gbogbo àwọn aláṣẹ gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé ló ń sọ fún wa pé pẹ̀lú ìṣọ̀kan wa oòrùn tó kù lókè yìí ó táṣọ gbẹ.
Iléeṣẹ́ ètò ìròyìn àṣà ohun ìrìn àjò afẹ́ tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ló ń kéde.
You are welcome back to Newspaper Review on Aloore Radio. You can log on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Aloore Radio. Also on YouTube, it is Aloore Radio. The website remains www.alooreradio.com. The first story I'm going to read is taken from page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune. Police, Amotekun after criminals on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. With a rider, Gani Adams seeks police cooperation with Southwest Security Network. In response to the agitations and fears of the people plying the Lagos-Ibadan highway over attacks by kidnappers, Ogun State Police Command has assured the general public that it has mapped out strategies to outrun the kidnappers and flush them out of their axis of operation. The axis included Ogumakin, Onigari, and Ishara, where 3 victims were kidnapped on Sunday morning. Responding to the move by the command to curb the renewed kidnap attack, the State Police Public Relations Officer DSP Abimbola Oyeyemi said that the command was not just starting operation along Lagos-Ibadan highway. He said, and I quote, "We have been everywhere along the road. We have our Operation Safer Highway, Federal Highway Patrol and team of an anti-kidnapping unit there. What just happened was just an optimistic drive by the hoodlums who saw an opportunity to strike when they saw a broken down vehicle being fixed," he said. Oyeyemi recalled the killing of 2 of the kidnappers at the same axis 2 months ago with the recovery of 2 AK-47 rifles, saying, "We are not resting on our hours because we are not oblivious to the fact that Lagos-Ibadan highway is one of the busiest roads in the country, and it is our duty to protect the lives and commuters on the road." For the rest of that story, turn to page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune. Police, Amotekun after criminals on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Still on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune, I have this: terrorism. Federal government files fresh 15-count charges against Nnamdi Kanu. The federal government on Monday filed fresh 15-count terrorism charge against the self-acclaimed leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. In the amended charge filed by the federal government before the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja, it increased the counts in the initial charge it preferred against Kanu from 7 to 15. With the fresh charges, Kanu, who has been facing a 7-count charge bordering on treasonable felony, will now take a fresh plea to a 15-count amended charge marked FHC ABJ CR/383/215, signed by the Director of the Public Prosecution, MB Abubakar. For the rest of that story, turn to page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune. Still on the Nigerian Tribune, I have this story that says, trial of 15 suspects in Odili's home raid begins. And with the rider says, "I was on duty when suspects invaded Justice Odili's home, witness." A federal high court sitting in Abuja on Monday commenced trial of the 15 suspects over their alleged involvement in October 29, 2021 unlawful invasion of the Abuja residence of a Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Mary Peter Odili. The 15 defendants, including a woman, were slammed with an amended 18-count criminal charge bordering on conspiracy, forgery, and unlawful invasion, to which they pleaded not guilty on December 14, 2021. When the matter came up on Monday, counsel to the 11th, 14th, and 15th defendants argued the bail application for their clients, which the court granted, admitting the 3 defendants on bail in the sum of 5 million naira each, and 2 sureties each in like sums. The judge said one of the sureties of each of the defendants must be a responsible citizen and an owner of a landed property in Abuja, while the second surety must be a gainfully employed in Abuja with evidence of tax payments as at when due for the past 3 years. For the rest of that story, turn to page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. Trials of 15 suspects in Odili's home raid begins. And from the Punch newspaper, I have this story on page 2 that says, National Convention, APC governors proposes February 26, Al-Makura Musa lead in party chairman's race. Former Governor Tanko Al-Makura of Nasarawa State and the lawmaker representing Niger East, Senator Sani Musa, are favoured by the leadership of the All Progressive Congress to emerge as national chairman of the APC. A top source in the party said while Al-Makura was being favoured by most of the governors, some strong forces in the presidency and the Senate were backing Musa. This came to the fore on Monday as the APC governors at their meetings in Abuja on Sunday agreed to hold the party's national convention on February 26th and February 27th, 2022. However, the decision on the convention is subject to the final approval of the National Executive Committee of the party held by the President, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired. The Electoral Act stated that any political party planning to hold its national convention must inform INEC at least 21 days prior. A top APC official said the governors have agreed on February 26th and 27th, so this will be proposed to the president for approval. For the rest of that story, turn to page 2 of the Punch newspaper. National Convention, APC governors propose February 26th. Al-Makura Musa lead in party's chairman race. Also on page 9 of the Punch newspaper, I have this report. Oyo panel settles as Lassa fever spreads kills residents. Oyo State government has set up a surveillance system and treatment as Lassa fever spread to the Okeogun area of the state. The Commissioner for Health, Dr. Bodil Ladipo, who said this in a statement on Monday, disclosed that the disease killed some residents. He said that the state has set up a surveillance system across local government areas to stop further transmission of the disease. Ladipo said the attention of the ministry was drawn to reported cases of death at Iwajowa local government area of Oyo State on Wednesday, January 12, 2022. The deaths were said to have been associated with fever, gastrointestinal symptoms, and some neck swelling. For the rest of that story, turn to page 8 of the Punch newspaper. Oyo panel combs settlements as Lassa fever spreads, kills residents. Still on page 8 of the newspaper, the Punch newspaper, 600 women group converge on Abuja for Bello's presidential bid. About 600 women groups from different parts of the country will on Tuesday next week converge on Abuja, the nation's capital, for a solidarity walk for Governor Yahaya Bello of Kogi State. The solidarity walk is tagged 1 million women march for GYB. It's quoted. Under the auspices of Women United for Yahaya Bello, the women group, including non-governmental organizations, civil society organizations, religious professional bodies, women in media, politics, market women, and top women entrepreneurs, among others, will join the walk to drum support for the governor's presidential ambition. 600 women group converge on Abuja for Bello's presidential bid. That is found on page 8 of the Punch newspaper. And still on page 9 of the Punch newspaper, prison attackers mustn't leave to tell story, Aregbesola tells NCOS officials. The Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, on Monday ordered prisons officers to shoot dead anybody who attempts to attack any correctional center in the country. The minister gave this order while inspecting the Agodi Constitutional Center, Ibadan, Oyo State Custodial. He commended the officers and men of the Custodial Center for what he described as high-level hygiene and cleanliness of the place. but stressed that attackers must not be allowed to live to tell the story. He said the officers must make it impossible for anyone to penetrate the facility because it is a red zone, and that must be clearly displayed at the entrance of the facility. For the rest of the story, turn to page 9 of the Punch newspaper. Prison attackers mustn't live to tell the story, Aregbesola tells NCOS officers. And on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune, we will make Nigeria ungovernable if Buhari increases fuel price, civil society warns. Members of the civil society organization in the South Zone have threatened to make Nigeria ungovernable for President Muhammadu Buhari if the federal government carries out its plan to increase the price of petroleum products. Members of the civil society in the South are already scheduled to engage in a protest march around the main streets of the region to protest against the hardship and high level of poverty in the country on Friday, January 21. Speaking with journalists in Benin on Monday, the former national chairman of the National Conscience Party, NCP, Dr. Osage Obuyoma, lamented that the government's action in the last 7 years under the current All Progressive Congress (APC) of President Muhammadu Buhari has made Nigeria the poverty capital of the world. For the rest of that story, turn to page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. It says, "We will make Nigeria ungovernable if Buhari increase fuel price, civil society warns." On page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune, I have this story that says inflation rate rises to 15.63% NBS, with rider government needs to stabilize exchange rates to control inflation, Yusuf. The inflation rate for all items, headline inflation in Nigeria for the month of December 2021 increased to 15.63% year-on-year, breaking an interesting trajectory of 8 months consecutive decline from the month of April to November 2021. The National Bureau of Statistics that released the figure on Monday in Abuja said this is a decline when compared to the corresponding months in 2020, which recorded 15.75%. However, this trend clearly shows an increase from 15.40% recorded in the month of November 2021 to 15.63% in December 2021, representing 0.23 percentage points higher than the rate recorded in November 2021. For the rest of that story, turn to page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune. Inflation rate rises to 15.63%. Also on page 7 of the Nigerian Tribune, to lead in future, you must utilize ICT, Dan Bata tells youth. The executive vice chairman of the Nigerian Communication Commission (NCC), Professor Umar Dan Bata, has stated that it is focused on implementing all sectoral interventions focused on the information and communication technology (ICT) youth empowerment, because 70% of the new value to be created in the economy over the next decade will be based on the digitally enabled platform business models. Dan Bata made this declaration while declaring open the 10th and 11th combined convocation lecture of Fountain University, Ogbomoso, Osun State. For the rest of that story, turn to page 7 of the Nigerian Tribune. On page 22 of the Nigerian Tribune, I have this story that says convention was okay. We have read that in Punch newspaper. Convention will host still in February. Presidency not bricklaying exercise. Shetima replies Tinubu's critics. and with the rider Bumi's committee ruining our party, Babacha Lawal, ex-SGF. Two-term Borno State Governor and Senator representing Borno Central Senatorial District, Kashim Shettima, has treated those raising concern over health of a former Lagos governor and presidential aspirant under the platform of the All Progressive Congress (APC), Senator Bola Tinubu, addressing a gathering of those galvanizing support for Tinubu's presidency under the pages of Tinubu's support group Management Council. Shettima said the race for the presidency is about contestation of ideas on how to revamp the economy to stimulate growth and not an Olympic race. He chided those who present the presidency as a bricklaying exercise. Rather, he said the task demands people who can galvanize the best ideas to redeem the country. For the rest of that story, turn to page 22 of the Nigerian Tribune. Presidency, not bricklaying exercise, Shettima replies Tinubu's critics. And on page 24 of the Nigerian Tribune, Aloore Akala Olubadan Showun's death, trying moment for Makinde, ex-Oyo PDP chair. The death of former governor of the state, Chief Adebayo Aloore Akala Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oba Saliu Akanmu Adetunji Aje Oguguniso I, and the Showun of Ogbomoso, Oba Jimoh Oyewumi Ajagungbade, have been described as a big challenge to the governor of Oyo State, Engineer Seyi Makinde. This was said by the former chairman of Oyo State People's Democratic Party (PDP), Alhaji Kunmi Mustapha, in a statement made available to journalists in Ibadan. For the rest of that story, turn to page 24 of the Nigerian Tribune. And with that story, we have come to the end of today's newspaper review. You can log on to Facebook, www.facebook.com/Aloore Radio. To share and like, you can also log on to your YouTube, Aloore Radio. The website remains www.alooreradio.com. Mobile apps available on Play Store. Thank you for listening and do have a wonderful day. So we'll come back tomorrow for the same another edition of newspaper review. I am Olukemi Omotosho. Thank you.
Ọgbà tí a ṣe jiná lóde ìrànjẹ́ làwọn aláṣẹ ìjókòó tí wọ́n fẹ́